Breaking news. At Adam Schefter. ESPN sources. Cowboys are trading three-time All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons to the Packers. Parsons and the Packers already have reached agreement on a 4-year, $188 million contract. At David Mulgeta of At Athletes First had a hand in the trade and ultimately negotiating the record-breaking contract that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing and makes Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. At Rap Sheet, also, quote, the Cowboys are trading All-Pro Micah Parsons to the Packers, and they agreed to a 4-year, $188 million deal by at David Mulgeta and at Andre Odom of At the Athletes First, including $136 million guaranteed per game, at Tom Pelissero and at Slater NFL. At $47 million per, Parsons is the highest paid non-quarterback in history and nets 2 first-rounders for Dallas. Shefty.
How about them Cowboys?
Also posts, the city of Dallas has now seen both Micah Parsons and Luka Doncic, each currently just 26 years old, traded away in 2025.
Done.
Look at Shefty sticking the knife in and twisting it. He's not wrong. Damn, Dallas, what a year you're having.
That's all it.
I mean, even, you know it's big if it's busting up the beef segment. I have a beef that this breaks in the middle of the beef segment. I mean, bad enough that the Mavericks traded Luka. But at least Nico could say, hey, we had concerns. We had concerns about his conditioning. We had concerns about whether or not we want to sign him to a Supermax deal because we had concerns about his conditioning and his health. I'd love to know what Jerry's concerns were about Micah. One of the best players in the game, far and away the best player he had done all the right things, was about all the right things. And as I mentioned earlier, this was not a Terry McLaurin situation or a Trey Hendrickson situation where you had a guy that had turned 30, was on the other side of 30, or you had a franchise that was extraordinarily cheap looking at you, Cincinnati. What did Micah do? What did Micah do? What's Jerry going to say? We had a deal. He let the agent come in and they jacked up the deal. How do you not get that done? If you're the Cowboys, how do you not get that deal done? So what does Micah get? Micah goes to Green Bay. He gets $136 million, $47 million per. So he sets the market. And remember, Mike himself said, I don't need to set the market. I don't need to be top of the market. I'm ready to do this deal right now. They could have done that deal last year. They could have gotten it done. They would have had more space under the cap. They would have had more flexibility to get other guys signed. But no, they wanted to wait. They wanted to wait. They wanted to wait. And then Jerry tries to bring this guy in and negotiate with him directly and then thinks that he has a deal. And then the agent gets involved and then the whole thing blows up and he lets him get away. Yeah, I admit it. I was wrong. I said there is no way he trades this guy. When was the last time Jerry Jones ever did that? Today? Today?
You think I'm an idiot?
Apparently that got real toxic. Apparently that was way worse. And never mind Jerry with Micah's mom last week, acting like everything's cool. Everything's fine. Don't worry about Mama. We
Your
got
mom.
this. We got this. And then he goes to Green Bay. Hey, man, I knew he was butthurt. I knew Jarrett was butthurt. I didn't know he was that butthurt. So he gets 2 number ones, and he gets out of paying a guy. And I can't wait to hear Jarrett's explanation. We had a deal. It's not my fault. We had a deal. Where I come from, my word is everything. You didn't have a deal, Jerry. If that's what he's going to go with, we had a deal. The hell you did. You did not have a deal. You can't have a deal if the agent is not involved in the deal. To which Jerry would say, oh no, we sent the contract to the agent. And the agent told us to shove it up our ass. It's because you didn't have a deal. That's why that agent did that, if in fact he even did that. Hey man, Jerry, if you want content, you got content, yo. You got some real content now. Hey, let me ask you something, Jerry. Of those 2 first-round picks that you allegedly got, do you think you could net either one of them or turn either one of them into Micah Parsons? You think you're going to draft another Micah? Especially where the Packers are going to be picking. So you just sent Micah. Hey, Jerry, remember how busted up you were in that dock after Green Bay came into your house and beat your ass? Remember how upset you were? I knew those were crocodile tears. How upset could you be if you just sent that guy to that same team? Wow. I'll own that. Didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. Either he knew A, he was extraordinarily butthurt, or B, he was not going to get that deal done, and he knew he was going to have a real problem with Micah if Micah had to play out year 5 under that deal, and then they had to franchise him. I thought that Jerry, honestly, I thought Jerry would play that game. Jerry's played that game before. I thought that Jerry would play that game with Micah. How about even Shefty saying? Shefty said earlier they hope to get something. Well, actually, what he said was they hope to get it resolved either way before the opener. Well, they did. There was also a report earlier this morning that he was seen at the airport. I saw Jane Slater say this, that Micah was seen at the airport, and many assumed he was headed to Green Bay. She said that's not what that is. He's getting another opinion on his back. Here's part of Micah's statement. Quote, I never wanted this chapter to end, but not everything was in my control. My heart has always been here. It still is. Through it all, I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I only asked that the person I trust to negotiate my contract to be a part of the process. Hey, man, I'm Team Micah. Maybe now we're going to have the battle for public opinion. Maybe now we're going to have the battle for whose fault is it, and they're going to spin. I actually agree with Micah. If you want to read the full statement, I've got it up on the screen right now. You can. I just read part of Micah's statement. And the gist of it is, I never wanted to go. I didn't want to come to this. I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I only asked the person I trust to negotiate my contract to be part of the process. Let me tell you something. This guy did not do anything wrong in that regard. Saying to Jerry, Jerry, even if he said, Jerry, this sounds pretty good. Let me get my agent involved in the process. I don't know what was said between the two of them, but the fact that he brought his agent into it should not have blown up that bridge and got him traded. This is what agents do. The players should not be negotiating on his behalf. Just like Jerry Jones should not be putting on a pair of pads and rushing the quarterback. Micah should not be negotiating directly with Jerry. Jerry should not be putting Micah in position to negotiate directly without his agent there for him. And then Jerry should not be holding Micah to a deal that's not actually a deal. And Jerry knows that. Jerry can't sit here in good conscience and say, we had a deal. We had a deal. Sign the deal. There is no deal if the agent didn't negotiate the deal. And for all of you saying, hey man, the agent doesn't need to be a part of it. He owns the team. The player is the employee. He can negotiate directly with the player, man. That's just wrong. It's just naive. There isn't an agent anywhere that would allow a player to sign a deal of that magnitude, a $47 million deal, without the agent doing the deal. It's absurd. Like, I can't believe that Jerry let it come to this. I can't believe he's letting one of his best players ever get away in his prime before the end of his rookie deal to a team that's one of the teams to beat in the NFC. And why? Why? What did Micah do? Was he incorrigible? Was he not putting up numbers? Was he a bad teammate? Was he a bad leader? Was he getting into trouble off the field? None of that. He's one of the best players in the league in his prime. So why did you move him? Because he tried to bring his agent into it. Damn, Jerry. Wow. But you want to win games. Does this make you a better team, Jerry? By getting rid of your best player? And for that reason? Or does it make you better for team content? You got that, man. You're going to dominate every news cycle for a long time with that deal. Quote, let me read this one more time. I never wanted this chapter to end. But not everything was in my control. My heart has always been here and still is. Through it all, I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I only asked that the person I trust to negotiate my contract be part of the process. You know, even as loose a cannon as Micah is, until Jerry started going on that media tour, until Jerry started to say things like, hey man, you know, Micah's been hurt. Micah missed 6 games. Micah actually went in there quiet. Micah didn't start lying down on tables and eating nachos and going to the phone until Jera started to say what he said publicly. And then Micah started to kind of act out a little bit. But I think Micah went in there holding in with his head down and keeping his mouth shut, hoping to get a deal done. You know what he sounds like? And again, he might be playing the media game, but you know what he sounds like? He sounds like freaking Luka. This is where I wanted to be. I love it here. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to spend my career here. Damn, Dallas. You lose Luka and Micah, both of them in their primes, and neither one of them wanted to leave. Here's something else. So apparently the Cowboys get Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. That according to Adam Schefter. Kenny Clark is probably like, wait, why me? No! What? Number one, I like it here in Green Bay. And number 2, I got to be the guy to replace Micah? I have to be the guy to make them forget about Micah? I have to be the guy to take all that heat? No, he is a really nice player. He is a really nice player. Man, Kenny Clark. I wonder if Green Bay, if the Packers were thinking, hey, man, because you know they were talking about it. You know they were in their little group chats. Hey, man, what do you hear? What do you hear? What do you think? What do you think? Kenny Clark was probably like, damn, man, better not be me. Better not be me. Oh! All right, so developing story. I can't lie, man. I shouldn't be shocked by anything that Jared does or says at this point, but I'm really surprised. Obviously. Within the last hour, I said they're not trading this guy. There's no way they're moving this guy. And sure enough, they moved this guy.